So I want to share something with you that can make a tremendous impact on your life. And that is, you are not powerless. You have more power than you realize. Let me put it to you this way. Even if you are locked in a dungeon and you can't go anywhere and you don't have physical freedom, you still have power in your life. Power in your attitude, what you choose to think, what you choose to do in that cell area, whether you can read or whether you can do push-ups or whether you can be thankful about things in life and God. I remember the story about a prisoner of war, and I don't know if it was in the Korean War, I don't remember exactly, but there was this guy, and he used to like to play golf, and he had a home course that he would play at, but he wasn't very good. I mean, I don't think he had ever broken 100 in his life. He went off to fight war, and he got captured by the enemy, and he was in just a terrible situation where they held him captive and they weren't giving him food, and they'd come in and they'd beat him, and he was in just a ridiculously confined space. And while he was in that space, he played that golf course in his mind. I mean, he literally took a 4-hour period of time in his mind to play that course. And it was something that kind of helped him to stay sane through that. And the war ended and he was released and he went home. The first time that he ever played that golf course again, he shot 80 something. And it's just, first of all, the power of visualization in that story. But in that moment, in that situation, in that very difficult time, he was essentially restricted. I mean, he was put in a small cage and limited what he could eat and where he could go and what he could do. But he wasn't limited in what he could think or imagine or dream. And I know it seems like a fairy tale type thing, but here's the reality of it. You may be in a situation you don't like. Maybe it's a job you don't like. Maybe the house you live in you don't like, or you don't have enough money, or all of these different things. And they're real situations, but you're not powerless. You have power, and power is the choice. Now, it can be the choice to have a good attitude about it, or how you think about it, or purpose and plan steps in a different direction. But what a lot of people do, which is a big mistake, is their choice is to be a victim. Now, they might not call themselves a victim, but in their mind, that's what they're doing. They're giving their power and everything they have over to the situation that they're in. So everything they do and everything they say, it's like, well, I can't do it because of this thing, or this thing keeps happening, or I don't have money, or this person is this way, or, I got laid off at my job, or I got injured, or whatever they are. They could be very, very real situations. They're using it as a handicap, and they're becoming a victim. And I just want to encourage you that if that's been you, to choose something different. And what is that something different? You have the power to change your situation. You really do. You have more than what you know. If you're in an abusive situation, there are people and organizations that can help you. Oh, but you don't understand. Well, you might be a little scared, but don't stay in that prison of being a victim. Even the Bible talks about the Apostle Paul and Silas that was traveling with him and ministering. And they got put in prison because they'd been beaten before and put in prison. But at this one particular time, they were in prison. And they chose to praise and worship God, and something miraculous happened. They can take everything from you, but you can choose in your mind how you're going to react, how you're going to respond. You can be free in your mind. If you're courageous enough to be free in your mind, you can actually have freedom in your life on a day-to-day basis. If you don't like where you're at, it's okay. You don't have to stay there. You have freedom to choose what you want to do, where you want to go, and there's people that want to help you and can help you. But don't be a victim. How can I say it other than that? We can be a victim of something that has happened, but we don't have to stay a victim. We can't always control what happens to us, what people say to us, what people have done to us, our upbringing in the home we grew in, or if something traumatic happened to you. That is an event that was traumatic, and you were a victim in that moment. But you don't have to stay a victim and stay caged in that moment for the rest of your life. This is kind of a tough thing to think about. Now imagine you were a victim of a horrible crime. Let's say you were a victim of rape or some type of assault. That is a terrible, terrible thing. And it's not right, and you didn't ask for it, and it's not fair. But it happened. If you choose to stay a victim, that event is going to happen to you over and over again for the rest of your life, as long as you decide you're going to stay a victim. Now, when you have a traumatic event happen, you can get help. You can get counseling, you can get therapy, you can mourn the situation that happened, you can grieve. You don't have to ignore it. And you can get help and get healing. But if it's done right, you can come out of it stronger than before that traumatic event happened. But it won't happen if you stay a victim. If you stay a victim, you're going to live it over and over and over again. And maybe some of you realize that. Maybe you talk about it. Well, since this happened, well, this thing happened here. And you're tying the rest of your future down to a traumatic moment that happened. And these things can happen in life, but they don't have to mark who you are. They can be a part of your story, but they don't have to be the end of your story. When it happens, mourn and deal with it as you need to. Find help, but don't stay a victim. It will control you the rest of your life and all the decisions that you have, and it will steal from you. Don't let it rob from you anymore. Don't be a victim anymore. It's the best thing I can say. Be free. You have more power than you know. This is Dave Miller. We're continuing our journey on Life with Meaning. We'll see you on the next one.